Sina mala kukaa. Sisi tukiwa tunabomolewa area sisi tunaishi.
From Laikipia, we cross over to Meru and speak to Clement Masombo for an update on the public participation forum organized by the Kenya Forest Services, seeking public views about the construction of an airstrip and state lodge at the upper Imenti Forest. The government had been accused by stakeholders and conservationists for initiating the process without required procedures. We now cross over and touch base with Clement Masombo. Good afternoon to you, Clement. What's the latest from the ground with regard to the public participation exercise that is ongoing?
Well, very good afternoon to you, Aseto. As we speak, the public participation exercise just concluded about an hour ago. It was happening at the Meru showground, and it's slightly, at some moment, it slightly turned chaotic when one of the stakeholders who was presenting his views was heckled down, and some of the rowdy youth who are there could not allow him to speak, and the situation was a little bit ugly, forcing police officers to whisk away the guy who was actually presenting his views by then. And right now I want to speak to one of the stakeholders who was there to get her views on whether she thinks the public exercise went as it was planned or as it was expected. Thank you for joining us live. Start by introducing yourself, the organization you represent, and what you think, what you take generally about today's exercise.
My name is Sherry Gaki, Communications Manager from Greenpeace Africa, and today what we've seen is very unfortunate. We've been invited by Kenya Forest Service for a public participation forum. This forum, first of all, is coming after the project has already started, which is typically not the case. The procedure we should follow is that the public participation should happen first. It's part of the environmental impact assessment. Then thereafter, if the project gets a go-ahead, then it can proceed. But what we've seen today, especially as people who are opposing this project and opposing this development in a very critical ecosystem and wildlife corridor, is that this has not met the threshold for public participation. We've not had a chance to voice our own opinion. We've seen this forum being overtaken and hijacked by political interests who are making this political and saying that those who are against it are siding with the opposition and have been paid by politicians. So just what you are referring to earlier, Kamanu is one of the petitioners who had put out a public petition for Kenyans to sign. He was submitting over 7,000 signatures. These are Kenyan signatures, these are Kenyan voices to Kenya Forest Service to say that these are all the people who are opposing, people who could not be here today but have put down their voice in this petition. And in that process, we saw that goons and paid community members, also some of the community forest associations, heckling him and chasing him, forcing him to run away. So this is very concerning for us in the environmental, as environmentalists and as environmental activists, because we are seeing that the voices of people who actually care and see this, the importance of this ecosystem being stifled. The other thing is that we've seen that the community has been told that this is about development. And what we'd like to say is that please let's not allow ourselves to be lied to by the political class. This is not, we are not against development by any means. We are saying that the development should not come at the cost of our environment. These projects they want to put up, the golf course, the airstrip, the state lodge, can be put up in other areas, other land. Let them buy land to actually put up this infrastructure and not grab land from forests and wildlife and people who really rely on this forest as water towers and for livelihood.
Thank you so much. That is Sherry, of course, speaking about giving her views on what just happened at the public participation exercise. And she says that some of the paid youth and community members, those are her views. For us here at KTN, we cannot ascertain as such. But then what we can report is that the meeting is slightly turned chaotic. And at the end of the day, it was an acclamation by members who are there that they support the proposed construction of the airstrip at the forest, a state lodge and a golf course. Of course, going contrary to what environmentalists and conservationists have been raising concerns about. Aseto.
Thank you, Masom.